left.
Well, that was quick.
Well,
Zoran lifts his brows and says, "So then I take that the nanites have been dealt with by the."
Well, I wanted to keep him here to double check, but he said no to that and left. So, shrugs.
To where?
To home, I suppose.
Oh.
We'll be seeing him. By the way, Joram, I thought that you at least might be interested in seeing this. The professor says it's a power relay, and it was transferring energy from somewhere beneath Torch to Scrapwall. Have a look. In the name of Bry.
He raises an eyebrow, looks at the thing, raises both eyebrows, looks at you. Do you need this? In the name of the goddess, this should be investigated. Tested. Documented.
Zoran says, "Yes, and I, as a worshipper of the Whisper in Bronze, am more than happy to carry out the goddess's will, as I have by delving beneath Torch. Don't worry, Clockfather. When I've finished investigating all of its mysteries and secrets thoroughly, I'll let you know."
oh, we can probably charge you for the for by the minute. Same charge as we get at the temple. Shauna mumbles to herself.
Well, do make sure to write everything you do down.
Zoran says, "You know, it does take so much effort to chronicle these things. I have to get the paper, warm ink."
He starts pulling out his journal and then starts to open his mouth, but then sees what Zaren's doing and decides to shut up.
Smooth the quill. I have to spend painstaking hours bent over a desk, with only the light of a candle to guide me as I chronicle these thoughts.
That is what the goddess requires, yes.
Yes, and the goddess also requires, as a temple does, donations to function, in order to ensure that the acolytes can continue to support the temple, because they're performing as the goddess wants. If only there were a way to conciliate these feelings. Maybe I'll think of something. You have a pleasant evening, Joel.
Yes, you too.
Zara will begin walking away. He thinks he has a handle on this sarcasm thing that Val told him about.
It was pretty good. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Zarin is very pleased with himself. He's walking down the road. He says to the others, "You know, I've never really liked doing that whole thing where I say something to someone when I don't mean it. That felt good."
But it's so deliciously vicious. Shauna smiles.
Pimian says, I thought about telling him that I had already documented everything in the matter that I knew, but,
Maybe you can trade it to him for free heals or something from now on. She shrugs.
Hey, maybe.
After all, you're not an actual worshipper of the Whisper in Bronze.
Nope. I'm just an information broker and technological lover. Well, lover of technology.
Well,
technological lover would be Zarin on a steam.
Oh, Professor. You're so
robot,
kooky.
Professor?
Yeah, no, and it's that's the end of the episode, and they're
Everyone
No,
laughs.
but at the end of a Seinfeld episode,
Yeah.
where it's and it plays and the laugh track goes and it fades.
Yep.
Oh, Pimian.
Oh, that's so Pimian.
Torch seems much longer while carrying this power relay, I must admit.
Take it for you if you need to.
I suppose for a while. He'll pass it over.
Carry the power relay.
So how about that serum working?
Well, who knows?
You would know.
I'm sure it works perfectly fine. I don't see why not.
Well,
Stomp, stomp, stomp.
Zarn, like, not really realizing the sarcasm, once again immediately forgetting the lesson, goes, well, the individual who gave it, member of the Technic League, so...
Shonda looks at him.
Zarn
raised.
blinks.
Personally, want to be one of
Oh,
those.
the sarcasm.
She smiles. Nods.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I'll teach you yet, Saren. Pats him on the back.
Go here. Just this time. Just, goes to.
Just to take a look in case there's any more.
There's nobody in the foundry.
Alright.
Not even the dead robots. Ooh.
Well, it's got to be awfully crowded in that room over there.
Connor? Val?
Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock.
You hear Vel's high-pitched voice shouting, "Yes, we're here!"
Shonda
And there's
sweeps in.
Shonda. Sweeps in.
Well, hello, folks. We are bringing gifts, I think. Some sort of really
Probably don't want to bring it in there, Rothor. The walls are too narrow. The hallway, you should probably put it in the foundry.
It's a relay thing. It's huge. It was sending energy to Scrapwall. She sort of frowns. You should probably take a look at it. The professor is, well, he's beside himself.
Huge relay thing, scrapball. Okay, got it. Show me.
It was
How
kept
did the
in
fire
in the middle of
rotor?
dinner or something.
It was kept
Yeah.
by the purple-haired woman for quite the amount of gold, it seems. And
Vel stands up for a moment, wanting to follow Connor, but then stays. And
you shouldn't leave her alone with the creep.
Zarin
Yeah,
looks at-
no, she'll like fall asleep and he'll just watch.
Mhm.
Oh, Sandal is not there with Vel alone. It's the opposite around, you see.
Oh, I see.
Zarin
Don't worry about
nods.
her.
He nods. He'll say, it's good to see you on your feet again, Connor.
Thank you. That stuff that Sandal brought really helped. So,
Zarin says, yeah.
There's one redeeming
didn't
quality.
help my leg, but Jerome managed to fix that up for me.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Just like put the thing down on one of the anvils.
You know, that's funny because he never says he's able to heal anyone. Glad he could manage for you, Connor.
Perhaps you've been saving it all up.
She put out one
Like
like mighty
an
puff of
apple
cure light wounds.
juicier and juicier the longer it lays.
He usually uses most of his divine power shenanigans for his work and not to heal people. He got his acolytes for that, but in my case, well,
Zarin
he took a day off of work. It helped me.
I'm glad he could make an exception for someone.
He's not that bad.
He's not. His acolytes.
Those are rune bloodsuckers.
They are just people too.
That is the most generous way of describing them I've ever heard.
Regardless, Connor, we recovered this in the warehouse of Garmin Ulreth. He was rather distraught with our arrival, but after some gentle persuasion by Rothor and I, we managed to persuade him to cooperate. A purple-haired woman by the name of Meanda appeared and offered him a considerable sum of silver discs to hold the relay there. The professor took far more extensive notes. Professor, perhaps you can explain?
Pimian walks over and says, well, it's good to meet you when you're in fine health, Mr. Bain. I'm Professor Pimian Kostobel of the University of Lepidstadt, and I decided to take some notes when I was investigating into the function of this thing. It seems to be some kind of energy relay or something of the sorts. It was being powered by a single battery and energized silver disk. And but it was outputting much more power than that battery could have been giving it. So my theory, he says as he hands over his journal of notes, is that it takes energy from one place and directs it to another place. In this case, about 100 miles northeast. The closest thing that I can think of in that area would be the town of Scrapwall.
And you turned it off just recently, yes?
Yes, just about an hour ago, I would think, before we brought it back here.
He nods. That explains that then, because about an hour ago, suddenly Vel said that her headache was gone. Must have been caused by this thing then. Interesting.
Hmm.
When
Sorry,
did
Lynx.
the
That
night
is
stop?
interesting.
The town headaches have been caused by this?
That would be a theory, yes.
Pimian does say, I could see how that could happen. Remember, Chandala, how we were getting headaches simply from going near it. I think it was emitting a high frequency sound wave
She
of
nods.
some
Yes,
kind, in addition to its energy transference properties.
Remind me. Sorry, Jonas.
No, she was just going to say it was highly unpleasant to be close. Yes, my head started to hurt. It is true.
And no surprise, this thing is half broken. Surprised it's still working at all.
Broken.
Some of these wires really shouldn't be visible.
Remind me, Connor, how long ago did the council first note the headaches appearing?
Oh, essentially, as the torch went out.
And how long around that time did you notice the footprints around the Weeping Pond?
Just before that.
It's all coming together now, I think.
Chain of events seems clear then.
She's supposedly still there.
Doing whatever she does.
Yes, Mr. Ureth said that he thinks that this woman might still be down under the Weeping Pond.
My hope, Connor, was actually by turning this off and carrying it here that this was essential to whatever she's doing down here. We don't know what all's down there. I figure it would be best to actually try and see if we could lure someone up coming after it.
Well, we certainly got a nice bit of bait.
Pimian decides to mention. He says to Connor, Mr. Bain, when you and your group, I hope I'm not bringing up bad memories. When you and your group were down under the torch, under the Weeping Pond, do you remember how at the very beginning, in that sort of wider open area past the river pond stream, how there were two doors and the upper one for us was locked? Was it also locked for you?
It was, yes. We figured it was simply, the other side would be simply caved in or some such.
That is what we thought initially as well, but I believe now that perhaps this woman might be back there, having locked the door behind her. And also, that is how she was able to circumvent all of the hazards that you and our group encountered.
We did think it strange that we found no trace of them going the way we did. It would make sense, yes. The question then is, what exactly are they doing there? Clearly they are, well, using this thing to siphon power from something down there. But, well, where's that power coming from? And why was it related to the torch at all?
Maybe it has the same power source.
And if this thing was sending power to whatever place
Scrap
instead of
wall, we think.
scrap wall, instead of us having the torch, well, now it's neither sending power nor is the torch active.
You said that you thought the thing beneath Torch was a vehicle of some kind, something that big would have to have some way to power itself, like this power relay, only much bigger, right, Connor?
That, yes. I suppose that could be what this energy is being siphoned off of.
A vehicle, you say?
Now, unless it suddenly deactivated itself now, which I suppose would not be as bad as what could happen instead. If it's not deactivated, but still pumping out power going nowhere, well, one wonders what happens if it's too much power.
That could be catastrophic indeed.
So we need to go down there and find out.
Yeah.
The
Pimian says,
android
go ahead.
woman needs to be stopped, clearly. Whatever she's doing is dangerous. And she
Pimian
has,
says,
she has shown herself to be ruthless, willing to contact and elicit service from well, known criminals in the city, working with a lot of secrecy. She's up to no good.
Connor nods. Even if her goal is not anything as malicious as intentionally bringing Torch's ruin, she does not sound like the kind of person who would care too much if that was a side effect.
Pimian says, I believe that we may have accidentally done something to slow the possible destruction of this energy source. When we were down there, do you remember I assume you came to the same conclusion that I did, that the giant desert was in fact a biodome of some description. We managed to reactivate it, lighting the entire place, and I believe you probably saw that on our way out if you were conscious. We lit the entire place, and I believe that may draw a lot of energy, which might slow down its excess buildup.
I do vaguely remember seeing, well, differences. That is a good point, Professor. Yes. And yes, I do think that the vehicle was some sort of, he shrugs, zoo, perhaps?
Shonda nods sagely.
Zarin, like, frowns again, like, looks over at Shonda, hearing the word all over again.
I knew it.
It would be quite fascinating to try to dig out the entire vehicle, but...
You may have to dig up all of Torch to accomplish that, Mr. Bain.
Yes.
And an excavation that large would undoubtedly attract the attention of...
Bum, bum, bum.
The Technic League, yes, I had not thought of that. They would be all over this place.
Yes. But before the black-clad murderers descend upon this town, we can at least save it from, well, whatever she is doing.
Should be easy enough. Go down there, see what's up.
Shonda snorts.
He frowns. I would offer to accompany you, but honestly, I think this should be done. I'm not sure if I would be capable of going back down there again.
Shonda nods. That's fine with me, as far as I'm concerned. You've been through a lot. You should probably still rest. Who knows what those nanites might reactivate or something if you go back down there.
Should be enough if you can help us with the things we bring back up from there.
I will give you as much support as I'm able from up here.
Well,
Starting going in for a hug or something.
no, he just got closer.
Okay.
Hug. The fuck? What the hell you think this is?
I love you, Dad.
I think this android has
He's not even my father.
You're not my dad.
Closest thing.
No.
He has emotions. He's just embarrassed. He's just embarrassed to show.
Zarin will say, "It's good. Now Val will have someone else to yell at."
Yeah, she does need variety in that regard.
I'm gonna be... I don't know how you did it without me, Connor. What else did she have for variety?
Well, he shrugs. Just people, I suppose.
Zarin will accept this. Nod. He'll look over the others and say, I still think it's worth waiting for, shrugs. I don't know. Give it a couple of days. If this, when he gestures to the power relay, has to factor into what this Mayanda is doing, I would assume that someone would come looking for it.
This place is not a fortress, though. If someone were to come looking for it, well...
There almost being, if things are as Connor says, I mean, I don't know how this works, but if it doesn't tell her that it's been turned off down there, and there continues to be a bigger and bigger pile of power, then at some point something might, blow up.
Zarin frowns.
If there's no outlet, if you just keep pushing more and more water in a glass, then it'll flow over.
Right, but the glass does not shatter.
If you put a
Well, you see, I've had some theories about the torch for quite some time. Consider your metaphorical glass. Consider pouring water in it like some sort of energy creator, generator. Of course, eventually it would flow over, creating a outlet, yes. Perhaps that is what the torch was.
So doing nothing should reignite it then?
Well, it should either reignite, or perhaps now the glass is no longer open, but rather a barrel, so to speak, that is getting more and more filled with water. Perhaps it's not the torch that reignites, but the town.
I suppose fate will do as it may.
I would rather have my own say in the matters of fate.
Agreed.
He smiles and gives him sort of a smile as sort of the naive youth.
Oh,
The
you.
older man. Yeah.
Oh, you.
A naive youth of that graying middle-aged man.
He's clearly a child in spirit,
Mhm.
thinking that we can change things.
Oh, how naive.
If it happens, it'll happen. We can certainly go and do our part of it. But
Well, I think we have discussed it enough. Should we be heading back down there?
I don't think tonight.
I don't think so either.
But join us next time.
I think it's a good spot to end the session now with plenty of revelations.
I didn't think we would find Connor this past.
We followed the trails, and
We could have explored a lot more before actually following the blood trail. It's about because we sort of headhunted him.
Zarin was
Yeah,
kind of
We were
railroading
actually
us.
looking for him.
Yeah, I think seeing the blood and worrying about, Connor's fate was enough of a driving force to not wander around, at least for my character.
Yeah. So many doors there.
We'll go down there again and check it out. But we're gonna break up that other door. Where we hang out.
Well, I still don't think we're going to be able to break it. I figure
think
we'll
we
just
can
have to
either.
we'll just have to find a way around it.
Need to find that key card or something.
and we can find a way around it. That is certainly possible. There's a lot of
There's a
Ways
lot
to
of
go
other
down
avenues, we haven't explored. That entire, I don't know what the hell you'd call it, section of the vehicle.
I hope we find something else besides technological stuff all the time, because
Well, the thing of, I presume, perhaps, in another book or what have you, but we're currently, exploring, like a technological ruin, essentially.
we are in a spaceship.
Usually the
so-
books would have each their focus. Right now, Technic League focus is not that big.
We did find one magic item.
And a few scrolls.
Two,
Yeah.
actually.
2 scrolls, one of which has been used, the Scroll of Identify.
Yeah.
You have the Scroll of Shield.
So I suppose a relevant question is that, of course, next week there won't be a session for obvious reasons.
Okay.
The week after that, though, did we actually decide on whether or not we're going to run?
It's a
again?
very definitive maybe at the moment.
Definitive, maybe. All right.
Because
So-
I would be happy to run a session there, but, it's right after the 31st, which
Yeah, it's
means
New Year's Day,
that
basically.
it might be a bit awkward. It's just a question of how awkward would it be for people? Is there anyone here who would rather not play at that particular day?
No, I'm down.
New Year's Day's evening,
Yes.
so I'll be
0%
So
awkward for
that's-
me. I'm more than fine.
good too.
I'm not super sure, but I think I should be available.
I'm in a similar situation. It shouldn't be a problem. I might, as I said, be very hungover.
I'll just take advantage of you, though, and
Oh
insist
my.
on my plans.
Yes.
Shit.
Shonda tried the future and she doesn't like it.
Well, do as I say, or we'll make a loud screeching sound.
Oh no, please don't. I have this blackboard that I'm gonna use my nails
I
on.
dial up to Scrapple.
My fork. I'm just gonna eat with my fork and my screechy plate.
Oh, the worst.
So how about all of us like coming up with like these fucking like theories and ideas for why this shit exists?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
How about that? How about talking to multiple slimy worms?
I also like our continued complete vilification of the church. I found it very invigorating.
I can't. On the one hand, I want to say I can't believe us, but I'm a player. I fucking believe it.
You're just a cheapskate.
But
Sheepskate.
it costs them nothing.
Yeah, it's literally for free for 'em.
It costs them a day of performing what Bry actually wants them to do. Like, Jorah would rather spend, like, his spell slots on things for crafting and shit.
Well, I suppose he can not just have the city die then.
Oh, clerics.
It's like builders or other workers, like
I
they can do it for free as
know.
well, but usually you want to pay
You know,
them.
Connor Baines saving and such. It's not that important.
Yeah.
I'd rather not work.
I am still of the opinion that we give it a few days, enough time to basically say to the council, hey, you're paying us, and then see whether anyone does come looking for the damn relay.
Would also allow us to finally get those masterwork weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
That actually, and since like 3 days at this point, and 2 or 3, and since Connor's
3
actually
days.
since Connor's actually here, like my pressure to immediately go down there is gone.
There's plenty of time to decide on plans. What I would like to ask you before everyone heads off to probably go to bed for most of us.
Guess I should go
Yeah.
to bed.
I lost my train of thought. It has been 3 sessions. I would like to ask the usual questions of what did you like, what did you dislike, was there anything particularly memorable in that order, essentially? Preferably from all of you, essentially.
Killing that Juju zombie was pretty cool.
We assume.
Almost
we
a
haven't
little
been-
anticlimactic.
We haven't been back down there
I
yet
don't
since
know.
we put in
All-
the concrete.
Yeah, it's
Our
like we go back
plans failed.
down there and there's just like a ragged, torn hole in the cement.
I shall return. I don't know. You created it for so much that
Yeah.
I drank 100 gold pieces to watch you super crit.
I
I didn't know that I would.
no. And how? The Juju zombie was certainly interesting. I like seeing the more high-tech robots. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I'm having a blast with like actually playing a character that talks for once, and I think this kind of setting is perfect for me to like do it because it lets me let out my inner mad scientist.
Mhm.
So I'm a fan of that.
I think the one downside for me has been like the loot we find, all the technological stuff, because I've never been a guy who really likes to like use items. But it's not too bad.
Yeah, I do kind of fall into that sort of where if I like say that I'm like playing something and I pick up a thing it's got 3 charges left, or or even in real life where, say for example, I bought a gun just to go out and like shoot sometimes, at the range and have fun like that. I would still probably never do it because I don't want to like waste my bullets.
These
Like,
Europeans do not understand
We
your
have no-
reference, Jerry.
If I go out with an axe,
Buy
it
a
doesn't
gun.
break.
I can't.
okay,
if I
so.
Playing around.
You sort
shoot
of
at the
get them 'cause it's
ranch.
like money. It's like you're like throwing money away for.
Yeah, but I agree to
Yeah,
some.
Larian puts it well. Too good to use syndrome.
Mhm.
It's like, why
But
don't you soap or toothpaste?
the thing is with consumables, like piling on consumables, you look at them and it's like, well, it's a consumable. It's not going to be like a staying value, like say a cloak of resistance would be. Like that's a good permanent value that you get. Consumables are just that. It's money that you eat to survive.
Who's wearing that, by the way?
No one at the
I didn't think so.
It's the problem with
going
that
what?
thing is it's so useful that everybody wants one.
Oh yes.
Oh, I don't know. Jake was like, I do not be. My saves
Well,
are
not like-
amazing.
I'm
My
just saying,
saves of
I want one eventually.
5-1-1 could use a bit of.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I want one eventually, but right now I'm definitely not first pick because I've got 176 for saves.
I need saves buffs, and I don't need heavy armor and like two-handed weapons. So all these knickknacks, nah.
You say as you wear the Swarm Bane clasp.
I mean,
It's gonna become useful at
You
some
want
point,
it?
probably.
I still should like wear that.
there's
and
gonna
use
be a
my-
nanite swarm in there, I think.
Yeah, I can control.
I have a
it.
feeling.
I don't have that feeling.
Oh.
No. I
Okay.
don't think that is. I would imagine that'd be there. Like, that might even be Paizo there. That could be sheep there fucking trolling us.
Could be.
Sheep, but sheep is a good, kind man who would never do
But
such a
when we
thing.
leave this town, like to not go down there anymore, I'm going to sell it, and I wouldn't feel bad about it.
Oh, and then the swarms come.
They wait for us outside.
Book 4, the swarms.
We heard you sold it.
That's the name of it.
Motherfuckers. The swarms.
Iron Gods Book 2, The Swarms.
We're not gonna play book 2, are we?
And then there's just like a picture of like the desert with like locusts of like blacking out the sun.
In order to get the scrap wall, you must first journey through the
We'll fight the 3 swarm gods.
Scrapwall has the power has been
Swarm
sent there to
Hunter.
power the
Yeah,
like
Swarm Wall is-
self-replicating grey goo that has
Two-
been
Yeah, no, Swarm Wall is actually just the wall is made of like
Swarm
a
Wall?
Swarm wall. Oh no!
stuck
I
over
don't want to
there.
go to swarm wall.
To answer your question, Sheep, to drag this back on the topic, I enjoyed this session more than the others, in part because we've actually made some progress in seeing the characters in action, and also because we had a lot of development. Not so much in combat, although that certainly did transpire, but out of combat as well. We haven't had the opportunity to have much out of combat focus, courtesy of the fact that this has been a dungeon diving campaign up to this point. I particularly enjoyed seeing the facets of the character, as well as the not just like the bullshit like that we're doing to the fucking Temple of Bry, but which is stupid, but we're doing it anyway, and I love it. I hate it, but I'm conflicted. I'm losing my train of thought. Let's try this again. I love the fact that we're able to just like have these out of character moments and have development and be able to like see the consequences of our actions. Something I disliked. There's nothing that comes to mind that I would say, oh, what the fuck was that? Probably the most like, what the fuck was that shit was the thing that I called out when we were fighting Garmin. Like, okay, so he reshifts the potion, flips over the counter into the barrels while drawing his weapon and still stabs me. Then he just drops the potion. I'm like, okay. That was the only thing.
What was that potion, by the way? Because I made sure to grab it.
It was a potion of invisibility.
There,
About that.
of course. There we go.
I've seen that happen too many times.
Mm-hmm.
I quite liked that encounter because we were able to finish that without killing anyone, which is nice since they're all like town people anyway.
Sleep is incredibly powerful
Now,
at this level.
I admittedly do not know how I feel about us just pulling some typical player vigilante bullshit
Yeah.
of busting in there and just saying, fuck you!
Yeah, I was trying to like call that out a bit, but
I don't
What,
care.
Yeah, we are here on official council business on the down low, and Sometimes you need to bust up a few doors and break a few
Yeah.
teeth.
And
One
shoot a
thing
gun right away.
Well, you know.
One thing I do really like about a lot of Paizo campaigns is from the ones that I've read and like tried to run is that a lot of times it really puts emphasis on like the starting community in the way that like, or any community in the way that like in quests and like objectives and stuff, if you kill people that are mostly innocent, like if we were to kill those thugs, I'm sure there would be some sort of repercussion like, okay, you killed our town people. You know, like that has an impact on things usually. So I've always liked that about these games.
If they kill all the thugs, the town has been cleaned up and it's all nice of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel as if that was the natural course of action for us to take, and yet I still feel like
Little
we're
bit.
jerks.
I mean,
They
we
have
are-
families and stuff. those
We are a
types of-
chaotic-oriented adventuring party. Like, doing stuff
Are
like
we?
this is kind of what we are.
are we chaotic?
You're just chaotic.
What? You guys are chaotic.
No, I'm neutral good.
I'm
I'm
neutral.
neutral.
What? fucking narrow, straight and narrow squares I'm running with here.
Hey, you know, I can't. You really think my guy is the one who believes we can break the?
I can't be chaotic and still worship my deity.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a part of. It's actually part of a class feature as well. I have to be neutral.
Oh, okay.
I'm neutral because I just like tech.
But are you neutral?
Like-
Neutral.
I'm neutral good.
Okay.
Yeah, neutral good as well.
I'm
That's your
neutral good because I
explanation.
believe that being evil is not great.
Yeah.
And I believe in like the concept of right and wrong and the way that being good is good.
Mhm.
But I don't care, you know, one way or the other about like particular little laws like that will like if there was a law saying, hey, you can't go into those ruins, I'm like, fuck you, I'm going into those ruins. There's shit down there.
Well-
More lawful in the way that things happen for a reason, and if they are meant to happen, they will happen.
That is certainly very lawful.
And but also in the way that that doesn't mean that you can't. Like you should act as you think is good, but then you should also know that no matter what you do, some things cannot be changed. Pretty much all things. Because if you begin acting as if they can't be changed, then you're fulfilling them in a different way.
Right. You're not a fatalist in that regard.
Well, in a way, but because
Weak fatalist.
things happens as they will, but that already takes into account your knowing of that fact. So if
Shonda will blink at him.
you are meant to fail, then you will because you think you're meant to fail.
Shakes her head.
This means you have to try, or you know, yeah.
We just accept any outcome.
I think there was a point, but now it's gone, or at least
Yeah.
a thread.
But
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
good.
kind of rambling now, and
But I get the gist of it. Good. I enjoy that you enjoy it, and I think that's the general impression I've gotten so far.
What was
Yeah.
the third question?
I think-
you had? Like, what did you like? What didn't you like? And
What was
Alright.
particularly memorable, either in the bad or the good?
I like finding the dude in the foundry here. I thought that whole scene was very nice and fun.
And that seemed like a long shot that wasn't even necessarily supposed to happen. That catch him.
We've run into him a few times.
I feel as if that was well executed foreshadowing. To have him shaded in last session, and then to have him appear again, even if that wasn't like a long-term thing, that was still good foreshadowing.
I had him when I saw him down there. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker! You're with them, aren't you?
I was wondering where that was coming from. Like suddenly everyone hates this guy. I'm like, what?
No, that's more this time. It was like you break into the house and you like,
Oh, I
lie
disliked it.
about
That's
it,
why I went out
check
looking
if
for
people
him.
are sleeping first. Like
Once
that's
we got up
deliberate.
I was
It's not
totally
like,
prepared.
Oh, I just
If I-
walked into the building. Like you checked if she was sleeping in
Right.
a room before.
If I
then you
found him at the
blinked,
bar,
like
like at the Civitas call, I would have dragged him into a room and put the gun to his face and be like, "You better tell me exactly who you are and why you're following us. Otherwise, I'll blow your brains out."
he's like, I'm
Like-
reporting to the Technic League what you're doing.
Well,
Yeah, I definitely had my suspicions, if only because of old, like, veteran experience, like, yeah, just a fucking
Oh,
merchant.
named guy just arriving, huh?
Well,
And
I
he, like,
didn't.
looks a little panicked as we bumble into him, like he didn't expect us to suddenly rush back there. How about that?
Sells technical things, you say.
And it was a nice shadowing of, like, seeing him at the beginning of the session, and then later on, like, oh, I don't know.
Snooping around here.
So I'm in session one too. Not session one, but yeah. So I'm like talking with the Clockfather.
Yep, we saw him at the beginning of the session whenever we actually visited Silver Disc Hall, which I like too. It had immediate foreshadowing impact of Garmin Ulreth, so that we actually had, like, a face and we had, like, some association with the character. I thought that was well played as well.
Yeah, there was context instead of him just being like the bad guy.
Oh, there's a bandit guy.
Because then we might have just killed him.
Yeah, that's it's certainly better than I've executed many things like that. Actually, this thing has meaning. That was pretty good. Memorable wise, I think more than anything, and I guess it's just gonna become a fucking thing. I was just basically hating on the Temple of Bride.
Because of their
They're gonna have to work
fact that we
hard.
came back
which
from a tough
is
adventure
entirely
thinking that-
out of your control, Sheep. I completely understand for game balance purposes why this exists.
to heal. They
But-
take more than the money
Yeah.
we actually earn.
Yeah, we
from
crawl
in the
out,
deadly ruins.
so bloody and broken, and like we're fighting to protect all of you, and they're like, well, money, please.
I mean, in a town that is nearing its destruction through financial means because
like the
its industry
severe
is
thing.
dying, you expect everyone to give you things for free because you are doing these things for money already.
I expect the
Oh.
fucking 10% discount.
I have paid for this with blood. There are buckets of my blood down there that I have paid to keep this town alive.
Oh.
Well, now here the Temple of Bri would say to you, well, if you can go down there and collect at least 4 buckets of blood, we might be inclined to give you a discount.
Fucking vampires.
I do enjoy these organic developments. It's not something that I can
Yeah, you
really
want to talk about
discourage.
organic developments. Think about how fucking, like, Ballard goes from, like, a man who was eating breakfast to the Meat King.
You want to talk about organic? Think about, like, oh, there's someone talking in my head. Hello, and in my head, I'm like, fucking kill it, goddamn it.
Yeah.
There's a creepy child voice asking for blood. Like,
Me as, like, a veteran player, I'm like, fucking stab it. And my character with his sense motive of -3 is like, maybe we should just leave. That's probably all right.
You know, my character was more inclined to not believe that there was a voice that only you could hear that was telling you things. It just doesn't seem like a likely.
Right.
like something that was meant to be.
Yeah,
That
like,
doesn't seem to be meant to be.
And then, of course, the robots, when we discovered, oh, hey, we actually are going to be fighting bastards with hardness.
Oh yeah, that flying dude was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Menakai, I'm having flashbacks to you and I both having low strength builds.
yeah.
Here's
I wonder
my
how-
what. Go ahead.
I wonder how hard those medical bots would have been with their syringes if they would have been able to inject
That's
us.
fair. We never actually got stabbed, so I
Yeah.
presume that's going to be like a fortitude save. Of some
Yeah, I
kind.
guess so too. Like a random
Yeah, like
roll
a
to see what
fortitude
drug
save
you
or
get,
nanites.
and then get horrible nanites messing you
Hopefully not as bad as what fucking Connor got.
up. He seemed to have been operated on for weeks, though.
Save or be put in stasis.
So who knows what they injected him with, like barrels of the stuff.
Maybe there's some other things you can fill around with. If you can remember, Jake, there's like that room with like the nodule things that was powered up again on like the left side of the desert biome that mirrors like the lightning room on the right side that we thought about like fiddling with before. I know you did specifically, but it wasn't powered, so it wasn't doing anything. But now it's
Oh, yeah, maybe after the biodome got powered back up, that turned on. Yeah.
right, and you can actually see what that's all about. I figure as a player it might be like some sort of like decontamination thing, and it's the exact same as on the
Yeah.
right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sheep, what about you? What do you think was memorable?
I think the moment that to me sticks out the most. Of course, how to put it? As for player things that you did that were particularly memorable to me, I think was Pimian critting the Blindheim while blinded.
Certainly highlight.
That was pretty good. And I have to say I really enjoy Jake, you coming up with crazy uses for different things, like tripping with a 10-foot pole and using the flashlight to blind people.
Yeah. He pulls out his flashlight and his longsword and he approaches menacingly with the flashlight out like. Argh.
Jake's sheep's just sitting there like, how would the rope fist thugs respond to this?
They've never seen a flashlight.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to channel like Pimian and come up with crazy uses for mundane things because that's just like what goes through his head.
Like
he wants to innovate.
He has established himself early as a character, not just a collection of numbers.
Well, I'm really trying because the last Ballard was like an extension into being a character, whereas Uzmak and Marcus were kind of just like dudes who hit shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would.
The difference is noticeable. It's definitely noticeable, and I think you are enjoying it even more as well.
You sound like you're enjoying it, Jake.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just you gave the guy an excited voice.
and it gives me a reason to exclaim, "Brilliant, Professor!"
It's nothing but that. Especially whenever fucking
whatever he does
these things.
Yeah, it's just whatever he does. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. Other memorable things for me on the same kind of vein, blocking the door with the grippers.
Mm-hmm.
That saved your bacon.
Yes.
So much.
No.
It's crazy how much difference one level
The thing
can
is,
make.
also the thing though is that is something I have learned by playing for many years now, that players, if they're not really used to playing, and DMs as well, forget that doors can be closed. And that's actually quite hard to just hack your way through a door. So that is actually quite effective way to control encounters. If you are at a doorway, that you can actually just close the door. If you have a wizard with you, you can even cast arcane lock on it for really.
Yeah, like you open the door, you see like a room full of like crazy monsters. You close the fucking door.
But it's so convenient to just like having identified those grippers too.
Yep.
So if we hadn't identified them, we couldn't have fucking used it like that.
Yep.
It was like the one thing I rolled higher than like a 6 on or whatever,
So I'll be like, how do we solve this problem with electricity, +1 working tools?
Yeah. We grip them!
I mean, that was just like a flailing response to a completely unfathomed situation.
Yeah.
Not undead so much as that undead.
Mm-hmm. All those attacks and at
High
that power level.
defense and high attack.
Fucking 4-armed sons of bitches.
But it again goes to show that we have seen so many times before. If the players can prepare, they can take down a lot of stuff.
Or they could just get lucky.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
But if you know what you're going to fight and you have some resources to draw upon, then you can usually beat that fight.
I'm pretty sure every single boss except for that collector drone was pretty much just dropped by a crit. Like the blind shot to the Blindhelm or Blindheim, the zombie was crit.
The super leader lady, the Skulks, Rothor crit her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Coup de grace, the tentacle monster that raked us.
You critted the first one of those like aberration things we fought in the desert before I finished it off.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Crits have really been saving our bacon here. Which I guess is the point of them.
I don't know whether it's the point of the crits. It's just what's been happening with the crits.
Yeah. It's certainly like crits are helpful.
Oh yeah.
Then again, I get critted right back by that guy.
Yeah, Mr. Juju Zombie fucking nearly killed Rothor because of wham.
Yeah.
Nice. Something that would have killed any of us because we didn't have that many hit points.
Yeah.
It's amazing, like a D4 claw thing can deal fucking that much damage.
He was so strong.
Insane. And quick.
And we don't even know whether he's done.
Well, we did pour him in cement and
Yeah, but it
after we
locked
broke him
below.
up, so...
You know
Hopefully.
how comic books work.
Oh, yeah, I know.
We
He's
do
back,
that-
I mean,
somehow.
it says it's solid stone.
It's like, we saw him die, and then we encased him within this fortress of solitude.
And
Yep,
next-
and
next
dumped him
session-
into a tunnel into the Underdark, maybe. A bit, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Next
could just very well be a
session, we
condition.
come back and he just like floats down like this stairwell. He's like, "You thought you could be rid of me?"
I mean, he did give you that look, like the
he did.
or
Yeah.
that look of like everything you fucking do is meaningless. That's like a troll saying, "You can't fucking kill me. This isn't fire damage."
There's that guy in black and white, the first game,
Yeah.
who literally says that. Playing this god, one of the last levels, he's like, "You can't kill me," and you can't, no matter what you do to him. And you get
That's a-
creative.
That's upsetting. We can find a
Bury
volcano
him
or
in
something to toss him in.
he'll scream, but he won't die.
The best part of that too is that the fucking designers know.
Yeah.
Like whenever you fucking whenever you do that shit to the
Yep.
player, I will fucking try and
Yeah.
research it.
Ultimate power! I will wreck you with the worst miracles in hell I can bring. I'll have my monster eat you and then burn him alive. It's like lock you in a pen with wolves constantly.
Death is not the worst fate.
The struggle there was memorable. I definitely thought it was tone setting whenever we fucking just ran into that Blinthelm, and then suddenly I'm blinded, Jake's blinded, and I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like the third battle we're in, and like we're getting
And
blinded.
we're already coming across, like hardcore
Without
debuffs.
duration. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what's the possible duration? And Sheep says, well, like an hour. What?
Yeah, and then he goes, "If you keep looking at it, it'll be forever."
And then the professor crits it.
Yeah. And the professor is like, "None of that."
Well, that wasn't
So,
really how it went. It was more like, oh,
So
goodness.
a challenging question
Yeah.
would be
Did I hit?
like, will we see a oh god damn it, I can't remember, swarm, and will we see another Blinthelm to like justify the smoke goggles or whatever?
Blintheim Swarm is what we're gonna get next.
Well, I'm out.
The
I'm out
larvae.
from that.
Look, I saved Connor. Like we can move. Basically, like
Yeah,
Connor, we're
that's-
moving.
Last wall has a lot of energy last time I heard.
Last we checked.
Scrap wall.
No.
Last wall is like...
Last one is another place.
Yeah, that's up
Yeah, it
in
is.
the north place.
And that's guarding.
Wound.
No. Last wall is guarding Gallows
It's
Spire.
getting the Gallows
Man,
Spire.
fucking so many places
Third
called
instance.
the same at this point. Like tyrants, so many of them.
Okay. Things I'm interested in exploring, of course, like, I mean, like, that fucking, if the guy got infected by russet mold, and I'm talking about, like, the guy we found in session 1, we explored, like, only the northern half of that deck, but the front of it had, like, mold stuff, and it was growing on the walls. And we found, like, a plant thing in there.
Pretty
I
sure
wonder
there
what
were
other
more,
kinds of crazy botany's in there.
I think there were more doors there that we didn't investigate as
Oh,
well.
there were definitely way more doors.
Yeah.
I would expect more plant things.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
no, there were.
going
I
back
think there
down
were
there.
two door. That room with the light like monitor that we destroyed because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. Pretty sure there were two more doors in there that we didn't investigate.
Well, there was one more door leading up
One
from
more.
that led to
Oh
an intersection.
yeah, there was one more door there, and then yeah.
So there's that. I'm also interested in learning why Connor Bane is so against the Technic League. I mean, sure, it might just be cool to hate the Technic League because Technic League, but
Well, doesn't
Yeah.
want to give you over, probably.
he might be a little extra salty for reasons I don't know, and I'm interested in learning about that.
His wife was an android.
Fucking asshole reveal what my character is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, of course I'm supposed to keep tabs on androids.
Like you. Well, that doesn't help.
You're very dangerous, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Monotone
No.
voice.
Be a machine. No.
Do I have a soul?
Look at me turning into all of these crazy animal things. How could I be an android?
Beep boop.
If I were an android, I would be... Error.
As the lights flash.
His eyes blue screen.
I'm error.
Like
What
reboot.
is feeling?
Zarin.exe stuff for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Emotion is important for human development.
I'm also interested in admittedly having an android to android confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? I don't know. What
I mean,
good
like-
are you?
The only way for us to get any real good information about what's going on in Scrapwall is to fucking talk to those bastards down there.
I'll go there.
And we're gonna go down first. We're gonna fix that
Yeah.
first.
Right, yeah, well, we went there, and you know what we ran into? A blimp helmeted Juju zombie. You don't want to just go there again.
Mhm.
I mean, you were told about the Blinthelm. Pretty sure from his first exploration, he was like, "Yeah, there was like a thing that made you like go blind," and there was like,
I'm pretty
Some
sure I would have
humanoid stuff.
noted that one.
I don't think that.
I think you're making shit up, Manica.
man, I was fucking pretty damn sure that we heard it. I don't know. I mean, he warned about some things down there at least.
Well,
Right?
that's true.
Warned about like the humanoids. I didn't know they had a Blinthel. Maybe Dolga said it, and I just forgot.
Yeah, maybe I
How
misremembered.
would she know? It's like, oh yes, there's the local Blint helmet lives down there. I don't know.
Because I
It's like
suppose
some
like
sort of
Connor-
monster, you know,
They're fucking
that
people.
blinded them.
The gremlins. Fucking
No.
the shit was that.
Gremlins hang out. We don't even know what they were up to.
Just randomly. There's
What do gremlins do? Like, I suppose that would be whatever they were up to.
They make mischievous traps and steal things.
Well, maybe that's what they were doing, stealing
I guess.
gremlins.
incredibly bored for an incredibly long time.
Gremlins be gremlins.
They protect the door where that girl was in.
But so like how did they transition like into play? Like what can like gremlins do? Because as far as I was aware, they're like trapped there in that little nook.
Yeah.
Whenever we found them,
Yeah.
can they
They
like
came from the
teleport or
Underdark
something?
tunnel, probably.
The gremlins live in the other like woodland creatures.
I don't know. Maybe it was a hole. Who knows?
Not a lot of woodland around
Who
here.
knows?
Can't ask them because we killed them all.
Kill them.
Anything else I'm interested in learning? I guess Scrapwall's been foreshadowed.
Mm-hmm.
That's like an immediate place of possible interest right after
Indeed.
Torch.
When do we
Yeah.
get to fly Torch?
Yeah, we raise Torch and fly away on it.
Mhm.
That would be pretty cool.
Pretty sure the Technic League would notice.
Don't
Yeah, but-
accelerate
but
too
then we
much
have a
because
sky
the
ship.
city flies off.
You
We can have
know?
Death race.
The problem is that the Technic League has like such a firm monopoly over shit in Numeria.
They probably
that-
have a skyship themselves. Honestly.
Yeah, and it probably has far better
Orbit.
weapons.
But we can have it like as a mobile
Constant
flying command
rods.
base.
What they do is like they have like a gate to the elemental plane of Earth, and there's just like rocks that fall down from the like endless sky.
Do that thing they did in Wheel of Time, where they open a portal inside a volcano and open up the other portal over an army and just drown them in lava. It's pretty effective.
Techno wizards. These guys do it all with their flying archangel armor and spell striking plasma
that is-
missiles.
That is what I want. That is what I
Can't think
want.
of anything else to bring up as something that was particularly fascinating. Other than I thought all of the sessions were engaging with the first one being the least because first session.
Do you trust the Clockfather?
I don't see why my character wouldn't
No.
trust Joram.
Like,
As for me personally, well, I mean, he's a part of the same
seems
temple.
shifty.
Well, it's because he's really into his work.
Maybe
Yeah, he's a little too creepily into his work.
he's just I don't know.
He knows something.
Mhm.
I feel when I look at him, he's a man who knows something. He
Well,
is
that-
up.
that token portrait, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
And it's
bad.
it's for him. It says like Jorm Kite on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I did love being able to tease the NPC by like, oh, look at this fucking power relay, isn't it? Like, oh, man,
Yeah, wouldn't it be great to study it for free? Well, you know.
It just sucks that nobody gives me fucking donations to do this shit.
But of course, if I were a cleric, I would be.
If you were a neutral cleric, yeah.
I wouldn't be able to sell my things. There I am at like the temple trying to sell my services, and they're like, "No, you're too good for this."
You have to help people for the good of your heart, right? Just how all of us in real life would do our job
you know,
for the good of our hearts.
Next time, I'm gonna play an Abadar cleric and be like exactly that. It's gonna be as just. It's a
Cleric of
transaction.
nobility and money.
It's a transaction, really.
I'm
Money
a
is.
cleric of trade.
Yes,
I would
money
be
talks.
disliked by my god if I didn't ask for something in return.
Indeed, it's.
I'm not dishonoring my goddess. It's I have to ask for money.
Yeah, like it's in the written rules we have here, section 3, 4, 6, 9.
All the paragraphs, you know.
Even if it's like a gold piece, it's still like.
Need something.
And that would be like, fine, I'll give you a gold piece. Like, well, that's not really. I mean, we go a little higher than a gold piece.
Let's haggle. I need
I
to do
mean, what
that
kind
too,
of
actually.
adventurer are you? Like,
We're in battle here. It's a free action to talk. I'm just.
Yeah, I'm just
That
saying.
is
Just throw that out there.
I'm just having a price list on my shield, so you can see.
Now, as you see, with the low price we've established for healing, it pays really better to have you die and then have pay for resurrection. So that's the new sort of outlook I'm going with.
You can buy healing insurance, however.
For the price of resurrection, plus 20%.
Easy,
For
exactly.
avoid the
Easy monthly payments.
I will probably like
60% of treasure gained.
maybe like next week or like a few days before the session, I'll fucking like look over the inventory stuff we have and like pitch things like we want to sell this, want to keep this.
We have like
give you folks a
2
report.
weeks to think about this stuff. We're not really going to do that, so.
Yeah, who are we kidding?
Honestly, I'm
Did
going to
you
do
check
extra
the-
stuff.
Short sorting, is it martial or simple?
Marshall.
Yeah, Mark.
Oh, that sucks.
I did enjoy getting immediate use out of Fairy Fire. I thought it would take several sessions before that came.
Yeah.
I also particularly liked that you moved and stood in front of the window. I like that detail a lot. Blocking out the only way of escape. I saw that, I was like, yes. Yes, I like everything I see here.
I think that was just another door. I don't think there's any windows. Like if there were,
That's
No,
also
it
dull.
was definitely a window you were
Oh.
standing in front of.
Did you know that the only door we entered was the one leading right into their room instead of the...
I did indicate to Sheep, like my little comment there, that I made to him that was mousing over. I actually moused over and could read Garmin's name.
Yeah, that's not something I anticipated, but should have, because that happens.
And that's why I disclosed it to him. Like I just wanted him to know that. So
No,
if
it's
you
more
wanted
like-
to rearrange or
So it was
I-
random that you picked that door.
it was just like a small door, and so I figured that would be easier to go through than one of the big doors. I didn't know exactly where he'd be stationed. No. But no, I picked Fairy Fire. Like there's gonna be some motherfucker who like either like a gremlin or like some sort of like roguish bullshit. Like we fought the Skulk, and she seemed like the type who
Yeah.
would fucking like hide, and I'm like, Fairy Fire would just be like,
I did smile when I saw you pick that spell, when I looked over your spell list.
It's a thing I like to do. I don't have access to glitter dust, but Fairy Fire works just fine.
My picked spell didn't really come in that handy.
I will say that Mage Armor does have the benefit of being cast before combat, so you could use your first action to do something else.
Also, Disrupt Undead definitely came up.
Disrupt Undead definitely did come
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, like I got to use it about like once.
But you
You-
kill a
you
skeleton
one-shot
on the
that
first...
skeleton.
You did one shot that skeleton who may
A
have very well
skeleton-
consumed the trap or something. Who knows?
A skeleton, I remind you, also took us like 3 rounds to down last time we fought it.
A skeleton who does have a full attack of 4 claws.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we were killing them by the
And
double
honestly,
digits last time.
your sleep spell like murdered.
Wrecked those robots and the rope fist thugs.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm quite pleased with the sleep spell. Yeah.
Like normally it doesn't get that much like usage, but because
It's
like
capped.
you're able to, yeah, it's capped. But at the low levels, it can definitely wreck. Especially since you're able to target apparently a primary feature of this game.
Yeah.
Not plants though. It seems
Nope.
or undead.
Plants
Like
don't
if
sleep.
you have a way to mind control constructs, they're generally screwed. At least all the ones the Rosenbrechts built.
Right. It's like hitting
because they
undead
don't
with,
have
like, fortitude save.
will saves. It's
I
not a
think
thing.
the robots in this thing probably have higher will saves.
Probably because they're more intelligent. But who knows? We might actually face some construct at some point where you can just play with.
Yeah, snap your fingers and it's just.
I
gonna-
just think it's entertaining. Like I have never seen like fucking robots like have a sleep spell cast on them. It's great.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's true.
It,
Kenrick is like, here's my card.
He's still sort of low level, so I imagine he'll come more into prominence when he actually gets some more.
As all
casting even like
spellcasters
more
do.
bullshit magic
Yeah.
against
10
Because it's
levels
not like-
from now.
When we get to like level 16, it's gonna be like fucking.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be
Controlling
it's
everything.
reverse gravity,
Yeah.
mass suffocations.
Yeah.
It's gonna
It's
be a
gonna
mad
take a while
As
before I get
Suffocate
stuff
those
done.
robots.
suffocating. What the fuck?
You can target any spell as if the creature was living, it says. So you can technically suffocate anything. But you know. It's impossible.
Wait, you can suffocate? What? You can't suffocate robots. Can
Probably not, but
Yeah.
his sorcerer feature says that he can target any robot or construct as if it were living.
Yep.
So you
it
can
targets
technically-
them with spells that target living
Yes.
things.
Like
But
suffocation.
that doesn't mean that the spell would have an effect, does it? Well,
I think that's exactly what it's saying.
I mean, if you're going to try to suffocate robots, I want a really good description.
Well,
You sucked
I
energy.
think that's a
You're
conundrum for far into the distant future.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that.
Who
Something
knows
to-
if that book will even be put out?
Something
you know?
to
You're suffocating the energy from them, so they don't like get the energy to their vital parts, like
The
oxygen to
robots
your.
have spirits, huh? Fancy that.
I was thinking more like electricity.
Suffocated.
Sarin droops. Oh.
Alright. Out of here, Euros. You won't take care.
Well, it is certainly incredibly late.
We have a session again tomorrow.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
remind me. I'm gonna be
I
Nope.
get to see Star Wars tomorrow,
out for
so.
that.
Me too.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, yeah, I think this is the end for the session and for the stream, etc. If you're still in the chat, there's a few brave souls still there. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow with VM of Thrones. And next week there's not going to be a session on New Year's Day. There is definitely maybe going to be a session.
Perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. See you then. Bye. Or Merry Christmas
bye-bye.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy
Oh!
holidays.
Later.
That's the good
Happy,
one.
yeah, happy holidays.
Festivus.
Yes, from all of us to all of you, happy Festivus, holidays, whatever you like. Bye.
Yep.
And don't
Bye.
get eaten by grappers.
Fine.